Hey LearnDash fans, Dave from Escape Creative here, and I just want to take a couple of minutes to show you some new features that we recently launched for Design Upgrade Pro for LearnDash in version 2.10. All of these styles apply to the Tin Canny Reporting plugin by Uncanny Owl. That is a separate premium plugin that you need to purchase and install. If you don't, you just simply won't see these options in the customizer. But once you have this plugin activated, you will have access to all of these new design features. And I do want to focus on the design aspect. Nothing that we're doing here is changing any of the functionality of the Tin Canny Reporting plugin. It is only allowing you to customize the design and add some of your branding colors and make things look a little bit better for all of your reports. But we're not doing anything to the actual functionality. All of that is still handled by Uncanny Owl and the Tin Canny Reporting plugin. So let's jump in and I will show you some of the options. The first thing I want to point out here is on the General Design tab. So we are taking the global border radius that you've set in General Design and we're applying that in quite a few different places throughout the reporting. So you'll notice it up here on the Course Report and News Report tabs. The background of this light gray box up here for filtering. Some of your form fields are also going to take the global border radius here, so you'll notice this all users field right here, as well as the search field down here, and then also all of the rounded corner edges around all of these different container boxes. They will also use your global border radius. The other thing on the General Design tab that we're applying in a few places is the link color and the link hover color. So you'll notice that all of the links down here in the table are blue and they turn to pink, and so those are using the styles here for link color and link hover color. Also, whenever we select a form field and it's in focus with the cursor inside, that will also use the link hover color style. So you'll notice that right here in the search for that filter, and then down here in the search as well, once again using the link hover color there. So those are some of the general design pieces that we're applying, so I wanted to point those out first. Then, once you have the Tin Canny Reporting plugin activated on your site, you will notice this separate section down here that will appear, and we can click on it, and this will open up a handful of new design options that just apply to the Tin Canny Reporting elements. The first one being container shadow. So right now you see there is no shadow on any of these boxes, but we can add either a small or a large, so I'll show you what the small shadow looks like. It's very faint, but you'll see it there. One way to see it actually a little bit better, and I prefer this kind of a design look, is without this blue border. So the container border width and border color, right now we've got a 2-pixel border here and it's in this blue color. But what we can do is just go ahead and put in 0 to actually get rid of the border. And I'll just clear out the border color because it doesn't apply anymore. And now you can get a better idea of what that shadow looks like. By default, Uncanny Owl does add a 1-pixel border in a light gray color, so you'll see that darkens things up because there is actually now a 1-pixel border here. So that's the default, and if you just want to get rid of it, we can just simply do a 0 there. We can also apply a larger shadow, and I'll show you what that looks like here. So again, nice and light gray, but just a much bigger, different style shadow if this is more your flavor of design there. So I'm just going to jump back and get rid of that, and we're going to throw a 2-pixel blue border back onto these guys. And what I think looks nice too with this, the 2-pixel border here, is the container header background and header text. So that is talking about this piece up here for reports, for recent activities, for courses. For every single box and container that you have that has some reports, there's a header that explains what is in that container, and that's what these colors apply to. So here you'll see we've got a blue background with a white text. If I clear those out, you'll see that the default is simply just a white background with a gray text. So I kind of like this nicer blue with white text, so we'll put that back there. Next up is the table header. So there are quite a few places throughout the Tin Canny Reporting plugin that have tables with different data in them. And all of your tables have a header that just has the information that is going to be found within those columns. And so here you'll see I've applied this, this green mint color and a dark gray for the text. That's going to apply to every single header of all your tables here in this reporting plugin. We could do something a little more drastic. Let's try black with white text and see what that looks like. And now you'll notice down here we've got black with white text to add some pretty stark contrast to the rest of the table there. The next thing is table row hover background. I've got it set to a light yellow, and you'll notice as I hover over each of these rows that that light yellow appears to indicate which row that your mouse is currently hovering over. The next two options here apply to charts in Uncanny Owl. So up here you'll notice course completions. It has this purple color. So if I get rid of the purple color, what will happen is the default blue will show up that Uncanny Owl uses. You'll see right here. But you can customize this and it will change not only the numbers here on the y-axis, but it will also change the actual box that shows up around the number of completions. And this is just some testing data, so I don't have a ton of information here, but all of your lines throughout this chart will appear in whatever color you set for course completions. And I don't have any tin can statements in this testing site right now, but that will appear just like course completions does. It'll just be another line on this graph, and you can choose the specific color that you want to use for that as well. The final two options here are for user report tabs. We can set a background and a text color on hover and when that tab is actually selected. So in order to see where these are used, they're only used in one spot, and we have to come over here to user report, and then we click on a user, and then we need to click on the details for a course. And these four tabs right here, lessons, topics, quizzes, and assignments, these are what I'm referring to as the user report tabs. So you'll notice here this one's selected, so it has this light purple background and a darker purple text color. We've also got the 3-pixel border that Uncanny Owl uses as well. We're still applying that, but that's going to take on the same color as your text right here. And when the tab is selected, you'll notice it's bold. When we hover over, you'll see the background and text color gets applied, and then when we actually select it, then we're going to make the text bold and we're going to apply that nice border there. So I think those are some nice options that you can play around with there and add some more of your branding and just a little bit more of a visual indication what's happening and which active tab is selected. A couple of other cool things that we're doing here that aren't going to be found on the Tin Canny Reporting tab in the customizer is this profile. Right here you'll notice this image is square. So by default this is normally a circle, but what we're doing is we are using the information that you have set for the general LearnDash profile. So if we come here to the profile tab and we scroll down, we've had this option available for quite some time for avatar style. So this gets applied now not only to the LearnDash profile or the LD_profile shortcode if you're still using shortcodes. We'll apply this avatar style to that, but we're also going to apply it to the Tin Canny Reporting profile avatar right here. So if I were to switch this back to circle, you'll notice I'll have to pull up the report once again just because this is the way that the Tin Canny works, and it kind of reloads the page here. Now we're back to using a circle for this profile image. And we can also actually choose hidden, and that will hide that image for us. Come here, and you'll see now that's gone. I just have a name and an email address. So those are options that we're applying here from the LearnDash profile tab. And one other thing that I'll show you here on course report, if we come back to general design, we've got our complete and correct color as well as our in progress color. So this in progress color is new, and we're actually only using it now for this one spot in the Tin Canny Reporting plugin, but we may decide to use it in other places as well. It just depends on what kind of new features LearnDash adds in the future that relate to in progress type things. But you'll notice here if I click on one of these reports, let's click on this one, you'll see over here in the course status with this graph over here, there's completed and in progress. This is going to use the complete and correct color for completed, and then the yellow, whatever we have set for the in progress color, is going to be used in this course status graph over here as well. The final thing that I failed to mention earlier is buttons. So we've had this ability to edit the buttons, and we use it in a lot of different places throughout LearnDash as well as third-party plugins for LearnDash. And here with the Tin Canny Reporting, there's no exception. So there's a couple of buttons that are used. One is this filter button up here at the top, and then we've got the export buttons for CSV and Excel down here. And so if we come over to buttons, we notice the border radius is set to 4 pixels, and then we have our standard button and our hover background and text colors for our standard button here. Those are going to be applied. So we've got the lighter gray that hovers to a darker gray. And if we were, for instance, to change our button border radius to 0, this will change all of the buttons that we're using throughout LearnDash, and it will also change these buttons here. You'll notice now they have hard edges and are no longer rounded corners because we changed this border radius. So all of the buttons in the Tin Canny reporting are going to use the standard button style here. And not pictured on the screen, but if you are actually using the upload feature of the Tin Canny reporting plugin to upload some of your content, there is usually a launch content button that you can add, and we are actually applying all of your primary button styles to that launch content button. So I don't have an example here to show you, but just know that the primary button styles will apply to that launch content button if you're uploading anything to Tin Canny. And the border radius will also be applied. That way, again, all of your buttons, regardless of whatever LearnDash plugin you're using, and all of the buttons within the actual core LearnDash plugin, everything will be uniform across the board and use all of your button styles here. So I hope you guys like these new features in version 2.10 of Design Upgrade Pro. Again, these are only for the Tin Canny reporting plugin. You do need to purchase that separately and have it active in order to take advantage of these new options. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.